A wall of beer, 17 feet tall, tore through a London slum in seconds. Not a metaphor. Over 1,000,000 liters, moving faster than anyone could run. It shattered brick walls like matchsticks. Homes collapsed. Families drowned in their own kitchens in beer. This wasn't just a brewery accident. This happened on October 17, 1814, in a slum called St Giles, and almost nobody remembers it. St Giles was one of London's poorest parishes, a maze of narrow courts, packed tenements, and gin shops. Locals called part of it the Rookery. Families of 10 crammed into single rooms. Sewage ran in open channels. Right in the middle of this slum stood the Horse Shoe Brewery on Tottenham Court Road, brewing porter for half the city, its wooden vats rising 3 stories high. Inside that brewery sat a monster, a wooden vat over 22 feet tall, bound by massive iron hoops, holding more than 3,000 barrels of aging porter. The brewery's owners had built it to be indestructible. It had stood for years without incident. But on the afternoon of October 17th, a worker noticed one iron hoop had slipped loose. He barely thought twice about it. That casual dismissal would prove fatal. Within the hour, that hoop snapped completely. Iron and would shatter like cannon fire. Over 3,500 barrels, roughly 320,000 gallons, exploded into the brewery yard. The shockwave ruptured a second vat, then a third. The brick wall separating the brewery from the street gave way next. In seconds, the volume doubled, then tripled. If this story's grabbing you, tapping like helps it spread. A wave of hot, fermenting porter surged into narrow lanes packed with tenement housing. It moved with the force of a collapsing building. Basement rooms flooded instantly. A nearby pub crumbled. 2 houses were flattened outright, their walls pushed clean off their foundations by sheer liquid weight. Neighbors said the ground itself seemed to shudder as the flood rolled through the slum's heart. Inside one of those collapsed houses, a family was holding a wake for a 2-year-old boy, dead just a day earlier. The flood killed his mother and his aunt instantly. Elsewhere, a servant girl died pinned beneath rubble at a nearby public house. In total, 8 people died that afternoon, 7 of them women and children, mourning a child who never even reached his 3rd birthday. You'd expect a tragedy this size to end with justice, arrests, lawsuits, real accountability. It didn't happen that way. What actually happened at the inquest and afterward still makes historians uneasy over 2 centuries later. But first, you need to understand what the streets looked like in the hours right after the flood hit, because the chaos didn't stop when the beer did. Rescuers waded through waist-deep beer searching for survivors. Rumors spread fast that crowds gathered to scoop up free beer in cups and hats. Most historians now doubt that detail. The flood was toxic with debris, sewage, and wreckage, not a street party. What's documented is grimmer. Rescue workers pulled bodies from cellars for days. One newspaper called the scene a scene of desolation scarcely to be described. The coroner's jury reached its verdict within days, an act of God. No one was criminally responsible. Not the brewery, not the vats builder, not a single employee. The owners weren't fined a shilling. Worse, the brewery successfully petitioned Parliament for a refund on the beer duty they'd already paid, on beer that had just killed 8 people in their own homes. The victims' families received nothing from the brewery. Some accounts mention small private donations from sympathetic Londoners, but no formal compensation ever came. The brewery kept operating for another 70 years. It was finally demolished in 1922. Today, a theater stands on that exact spot on Tottenham Court Road, a place where beer once drowned a neighborhood, with no marker naming the dead. The London beer flood reads like a joke until you remember 8 real people died, mourning a child, in their own homes. It's a reminder that industrial disasters rarely spare the poor and rarely punish the powerful. That's the story we dig up here, the history they buried. Subscribe so the next dossier finds you. Tell us below which buried story we should open next, the Radium Girls, or something local to you.